All of us, we cannot be leader in one major field. Vision don't die. All visionaries don't joke with false statements, because those false statements, they are components that will make their vision to come to friction. I'm sorry, will not ever kill you. You must bear this in mind. Somebody look at Jesus Christ, and when Jesus was coming, and he said, "Behold, a perfect man coming." And Jesus said, No. Don't ever make a mistake. Nobody is perfect except my Father in heaven. In other words, Jesus was telling you that I myself, born in the flesh, am capable of making mistake. Do you know Jesus made a mistake? You know the mistake he made? He chose the wrong person as his accountant. Yes, Jesus made a mistake, sir. He chose the wrong. As spirit-filled as Jesus was, but you know, when he was on earth, he was the Son of Man, not the Son of God. So you are bound to make a mistake. As spirit-filled as Jesus is, he made a mistake. He chose the wrong person as his accountant. Now, after all, he's supposed to know that this man will betray me. But later, if you read the Bible very well, you know that after some time, he knew that among them one would betray for the scripture to be fulfilled. But let's think of it very well. From the onset, if you knew quite sure, and the Holy Spirit is privy to the information, and the Holy Spirit had informed him earlier, he will not pick Judas Iscariot. If somebody tells you that this is the person that will kill you, will you now go and employ that person to come and be in your kitchen again? Won't you run away? Will you eat with somebody that will poison you? Now, if somebody tells you that your cook, he or she is going to poison you, will you still employ the person because you love the person? What type of love is that? Define that love for me. Is it agape? Philia? Huh? Praise God. Now, I'm sorry can never take away anything. Do you know that many of us, we have wronged ourselves? Many of us, we have spoken ill of ourselves. Many of us, we have stabbed ourselves at the back. Many of us, we have cast aspersion on ourselves. Many of us have said things that we don't have vital proof or information to back it up. Now look at the person sitting next to you and tell that person, "I'm sorry." Say it one more time. Say it for the last time. Now the choir, that is where there is too much agitation. The chorister, in every ministry where there is agitation and contention, is the chorister, is the music ministry. Because Satan was a musician. Lucifer was a musician before he was fired. And anybody that is singing, he loves to create. He gets so much infuriated when he see people singing, because he will remember when you are singing very well. Lucifer turned to Satan. We now remember the time that he was singing before the Almighty. Then he will cause contentions. Then you see, in all churches where there is always contention, "Oh, she stepped on me. She said this. They gossip about me. This is what they said. This is this. She did not use, she's not a tenor. She belonged to soprano. She now come to tenor. She now did this." There is always contention in the music ministry. Why? Because the devil envied you. The devil envied that ministry. Because that was his ministry before he was fired. And that's why you find it difficult to say, I'm sorry to yourself. And that's why at times, when you manage to mount the podium, you are grieved in the spirit. Now let me tell you, there is no way you can sing effectively when you are grieved. Now that's why you see that musician in the world, the worldly musician, if they wanted to sing, they like to smoke weed. Now someone like Bob Marley, oh, you have danced Marley, Bob Marley in those days, reggae, you know all those things. So it takes someone that has taken some certain thing that will make him not to look at anybody. That's why at times some of them they sniff are drugs in order to make them to have to compose themselves, to be able to stand, so that they want to do all kinds of things. It's the work of the devil. That's why many things goes with music and music ministry. Many things. But one of the greatest things you see there is contention. There is always a dispute or a case to settle in music ministry, because each of them find it difficult to say, I'm sorry. Now, the first one I show you, have you ever said thank you to the person sitting next to you? For somebody sitting next to you is a blessing. Because somebody is in the forest. He was praying to God. Let me just add one person to be communicating to. Somebody is lying down at the hospital. They gave him maybe the type of wounds that he or she or scar that the devil has afflicted the person with. Even though the nurses dress it, but the way it's smelling. So the hospital authority decided to give that person a separate place. Do you know that some patients, when the nurses are going, they must cover their nose. Even when the doctors are going, they must cover their nose. And that person, nobody comes to visit. All the family members have abandoned the person. They have run away. It's disgusting. They don't want to associate themselves with the person anymore. Now you are here this morning. Somebody sitting next to you. Can't you tell that person thank you? For you to see somebody. Okay, now listen to me. May you see, very soon now, we shall start prison ministry. We shall start to go from one prison to another prison. That's another thing the Lord has told me. And we are working comprehensively on it. And the man who is coming, we are working on it. And we'll go to prison. We go with so many musical instruments. Take some of the choir. Now, in some prison, there are some inmates that they have been in castration and they have sentenced them to death. Some of them, where they put them, they don't see anybody at all, from morning till evening. Even if they want to give them their food, the prison warder will put it and use their leg to push it to them. At times you have not seen things. That is why at times you brag. Now, if you go to Bangkok and you happen to be a prisoner, all prisoners must have 2 chains on their legs and 2 chains on their hands and chain on their waists. That is what they used to control them. And the place they put them is just 4 by 4 prison, 4 square meters. That is where the latrine is. That is where he will take his bath. Everything he will do it there. And that is where he will also eat. May you never go to prison. I say you will never go to prison. I say you will never go to prison. I say you will never go to prison. That is why you don't know life. such a person, not all of them are criminals. Some of them, they were wrongly picked for what they did not commit. When you get somebody telling you, please take it cool, take it cool, take it cool, he or she have seen a lot. Now, I'm sorry, somebody find it difficult to say I'm sorry, has led some people into everlasting destruction. You will not be destroyed. I say you will not be destroyed. I say you will not be destroyed. Now let's look at the third one. Please. Many of us. Now, all these things, the White says, character begins at home. Many cannot say, please. Can you please show me the way? Can you please tell me what I need to do? Now, you see, that's why you see the British people, our colonial master, who control the language of English. They taught us, if you want to write, if you see a good writer writing to somebody, the first thing you must first of all do, the British people taught us, you must greet the person. Is either you say, kindly please help me. Kindly means go out of your way. And I'm also using please, just do it for me. Do you tell people please? But at times we felt that it must come to us. Some of the things that some of us we are clamoring for, that is our rights. It's not our rights. Are you getting it now? So at times you don't add please to some certain thing, and it costs you a lot of problem. Let's look at the fourth one. Am I making sense to somebody? Let's look at the fourth one again. Help me. Just help me. You see, there are some words that can take you out of serious problem. There are some people that they knew where your solution lies, but they are waiting for some certain word to come out of your mouth before they will do it for you. Now, if you happen to meet a capitalist person, who is a capitalist person? A rich man who believes in his wealth and believe in usury. You know what is called usury? Usury means interest. Who believe something that must, when I give you something, I must get back more. That's how the capitalists think. Now, I always tell some people, some of you want to do business and you believe a capitalist person will just throw his money to you and go and do whatever you like. It's grossly impossible. I was once a banker and I knew what capitalist means. Now, for example, if you want to apply for a loan in any financial institution, the first thing they must look at, they look at your account profile. What are the things coming in and the thing coming out? Now, what you are asking for, they look at your 5 years bank account statements. Have you been able to put 3 times or 4 times of that money into your bank account? If you have not put half, they will never grant you that loan. You can speak any language because he's doing business with his money. They value capitalist people. They value their money more than anybody. And they believe in their interests more than anything. Give you money, you pay back 3 times or 10 times to me. That's the way. That's bank. That is the reason. That is the law of banking. But instead of you to pass through that hurdles, maybe somebody close to you, your brother, your sister, your friend, your anybody that you are very close to, you can go to the person and tell him, please help me, I need your help, and explain and be faithful. This is the situation I found myself. Help me out. Once you have used the word help, as long as he or she is created by God, compassion will come. Now listen to me. We were in Lagos, and workers they were working, and for 2 weeks I did not pay them. But we usually pay every Friday. The first Friday I did not pay. The second Friday I did not pay, because I was short of fun. So you may be amazed that the man preaching like this can be short of fun. There is nobody on planet Earth that can ever be short of fun. What about if you find yourself in a place where your checkbooks are not available, or you find yourself in a situation where you have lost all your credit cards, or you find yourself in a situation where somebody hijacked your bag, where all your money and everything is inside? What are you going to do? And you are in a foreign land where no brother, no sister, nobody. What are you going to do? Tell me. Will you go and jump in front of the train to kill you? No, sir. No, man. Then that is where the word help will come. You now go to anybody you set eyes on and say, please help me. This is my situation. The way you package your words, the way you use the help constantly, will make that person to look at your case, whether it will help or it will not help. So now, I did not pay them for 2 weeks. So I and my wife decided to visit the site. And these laborers, they are different people. And they are trying to rough handle the supervisor. And the supervisor was an elderly man. Oh, and I told my wife, I said, poor man. They are trying to embarrass this man. So I just drove. When I drove my car, I came out of the car. So I told my wife, I said, I'm coming. So I walked down. 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 And when I was coming back, and I remember Psalm 121, that I will lift up my eyes unto the hill, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord that made heavens and the earth. And he that keepeth Israel do not slumber nor sleep. He that keepeth me do not slumber nor sleep. And the Lord will keep me, will guide me. I started quoting that scripture. Then I came back. Then I came back to my wife, and I was smiling. Within a twinkle of an eye, less than 10 minutes, a car just drove in. And I thought they were coming from Ghana. I said, oh, you are coming from Ghana. So no. So we just visited your church last week, and the way you preach, you taught us some certain thing, and we are blessed. And we thought it wise that we should come and pay our tithe here. We don't fellowship here. We just thought it wise. And asked me, they brought more than sufficient that we wanted to pay for the 2 weeks wages of the workers. So I quickly called the supervisor. I myself, I stretched my hands to God. And I said, help me. In some cases, it does not matter your position. You need help of people. For example, which I cannot be, let's assume I want to be a president of this nation, which I cannot be. I must use a word to get a vote from you. And that word that I must use, help must be there. I cannot just come to you and say, if you don't vote for me, if you don't vote for me, even bread you will not get. Okay. And then we say, okay, we'll see how you get there. But wait, there is power in the tongue. Tell your neighbor, help me. Hallelujah. Let's look at, tell your neighbor one more time, help me. Say it one more time. Say it again and again. Somebody give God a mighty clap offering. Now let's look at the next one. I think we have two more. Then we quickly round up. A vision-oriented person. We have more than that. Maybe we're going to stop here. Then we'll continue next week. We have a lot to do. Praise God. Let me just, a vision-oriented person does not believe in failure. A vision-oriented person does not believe in failure. Now listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. If you are a visionary, you can never fail. But you can only make mistakes. Some of us, we turn back on our vision because of small mistake that we have committed. Mistake is not failure. Do you know the meaning of failure? Who is a failure? A failure in this kingdom, a failure is somebody who did not achieve anything that God sent him to come and do on earth, and he or she died without fulfilling that thing. That person is a failure. That is why the most richest place on planet Earth is not the bank. It's not even our natural resources, where we have our natural resources. The most richest place on planet Earth is the cemetery. Because some people die, they were called to establish factory. They did not establish it. They died with that factory. Some were called to write thousands of books. They die with that books. Some were created to build many houses. They die with that houses. Those are the failure. But the man and the woman that is still breathing, he or she is not a failure. Nobody can fail while he or she is still living. But you can make mistakes, which is inevitable. But a failure is somebody that is at the cemetery, that went back to God full. God did not create you to come back to him full. He wanted you to come back to him empty. Are you getting me now? That's why I'm going to stop here, but I must talk about this one. If you go back to God full, you are a failure. But if you go back to God empty, that means you have exhausted everything. You have released everything that he gave to you on planet Earth, and you now go back to him empty. You are a successful person. That is why, do you know the reason why cemetery is always silent? Have you gone to the cemetery before? Have you been there to go and snap a picture and cross your leg like this? Have you posed by somebody's tomb and placed your hand on it? That you will not go to that place, because you go to the studio. Because studio, you thought studio makes you to be beautiful, isn't it? But go to the cemetery. You see that it's very quiet. Why is it quiet? That man, that woman is lying down in the tomb there because he did not fulfill what God said he should fulfill. And that is why he was silent. That is why she's silent. That is why he cannot talk again.